What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to Liar Game, this time of episode 16. Was another really fun episode last about the big kind of development, of course, was unfortunately the end of the episode where we essentially got betrayed. We didn't really get betrayed. It turns out Yokia had the same idea as, I forget his name again now, Akiyama. They pretty much had the same idea, same plan. I do feel like Yokia just done it a little bit better. He didn't have to rely on making a deal, which he already did do earlier on in the arc, if you remember. He didn't have to rely on making a deal with anyone. He got Akiyama's day team to betray the team without their knowledge that they were betraying their team, which I think was again a little bit more smart than maybe not more smart, but a bit less risky to have them betray their team without them knowing than to get someone to try and betray their team, and then if they were to fail then leak that kind of plan to the leader or whatever. So yeah, same plan, execute a little bit better and swifter from Yokia. So pretty disastrous situation we're in right now, where there is no money left in the savings ATM that the Bank of Day is keeping for the Bank of Day. Yeah, the names just make it more confusing, so I'm not gonna bother. But yeah, you guys know what's going on. Yeah, perilous, disastrous situation. Not unwinnable, but very disastrous situation we're in right now. And why anyone on the team of Knight would betray their team in this position, I don't think they would. Why would you? Why would you betray your team in such a commanding position like this? Three fucking douchebags. Again, I'm not sure I'd go that far. I wouldn't say practically clinching. They're on the edge of victory. I wouldn't go quite as far as say practically clinching though. We need more Fukunaga rage, honestly. Need to go a bit more bit more physical with the guys last week. Thank you guys for the comments. Let me know these guys didn't actually hear about Akiyama's plan until after they took the money. But even so, just to take money like that when it's so obviously like, even if they heard or knew nothing about anything in regards to any plans, to see that amount of money sitting there like that, surely you've got to question it, right? And not just be a greedy fucker and take it with no questions. Especially knowing that it goes into the savings bank rather than your personal account. Like, what do the team of the night team do now? They can't redeem any more money, right? Even if they lose every single one of them, that would only amount to 1.5 billion, right? Let's just take a look at that maths again there. Just that's the thing about this arc. It is very like this is an arc. I think if I was reading the manga, I'd want to get through in quite a short span of time, so all the information would be very fresh. Watching the anime, of course, we've covered it over multiple weeks now, and there's going to be even more weeks to go. So eventually, like you'll not be too kind of clued up on all the information that you gathered, unless you like take notes or something. Um. So yeah, you have to forgive me with stuff like this. So yeah, night team. Yeah, even if we were to make 1.5 billion and brought out zero money on every one of their 100 million calls, we'd still end up with 0.7 million less. 0.7 million, 700 million less. Um, best possible scenario that is as well, by the way. But yeah, that is the best possible. If they call 100 mil every time, that's the best possible scenario. But as I was saying, what do the country of night team do now in regards to the kind of taking their money out because they haven't got any more money to take out, right? Did they just? I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty boring now for them as like, which is good. You want it to be boring because that assures victory. But that now just means that they've got no money to take out, so it's always going to be zero. They've got no worries. As I said, boring, but boring's good in a game like this. Um, so yeah, their kind of turns don't even really matter anymore. Why would they? I said this earlier. Why would they? You fuckers would. I don't think he will. He's not that bad. If anything, I think that this makes it a little bit more interesting for Akiyama. Right now, he's got an insurmountable task, which is pretty exciting. At least you're honest. At least you're honest. You all want to talk. Would be quite satisfying though, can't lie. Put it lightly. Oh, this is what I do sometimes in chess. I sometimes go on like the weaker spot, give up all my pieces, and try to win from like a seemingly ridiculous position. And usually do because the bots are fucking stupid as fuck. Sorry, I did just miss a bit there because I was yapping. But yeah, so I go on Martin, put Martin on, give up my queen, my rooks, put my pawns in an awful structure, give up my bishops, and just have like two knights or something and a few pawns and try to win from that position. Quite fun. And again, most of the time I do win because was absolutely stupid. Um, but this is kind of like that. It's just like it's more fun being in a worse position. Unfortunately, our opponent is not stupid, so that is really tough. Like the respectful thing to do, as I said, like in a game of chess against an opponent that has you in a position like akin to this, would just be to quit. It's, and I'm not sure you say this the honourable thing to do. If you, it's one of those things where some people are naive and think, um, I'll keep going because you'll never win if you give up, for example. But that's just not the case in like some chess games and such. It's you should know when you're defeated in some cases. Um, so yeah, but clearly this is not the case for Akiyama. Clearly he thinks we've still got some kind of chance, even against a strong opponent. Brother, he's the only one been doing anything. So confident. What is Akiyama going to bring in this room? How are we going to try spinning this then? Well, they don't know that. There's no way they could be assured of that. But this guy's freaking out big time. It is, yeah. But it's like it makes sense to you because you've done the same thing essentially. You took out money from your account and hid it for them to find. Like it makes total sense that, especially with them kind of knowing that our team ain't no and well, we've got a few monkeys, but we ain't no monkey brains. That we do like the same thing. Like, yeah, it's almost a shame we didn't get a chance to like try to do Akiyama's plan, because then they would have known for sure that we had the same plan, which would have made this bluff work even better, probably. But interesting. So now there's just 1.9 billion that we have control of in a way, but it's just like in limbo essentially. So that 1.9 billion kind of essentially just doesn't exist within the game. So they can't retrieve any more money, which is massive. Because if that money wasn't in our savings, that that means if they continue, so this is really interesting, because if they continue doubting 100 million, that would mean that they would lose if that money is in limbo. So this kind of messes up their plan to doubt 100 million every time. But why would Akiyama tell you this if this puts their plan at risk for them to doubt 100 million every time? Why would he tell you that and give you a heads up about that? Is now a question, isn't it? Why would he let you know about that 1.9 billion not being deposited? Surely the smart thing to do would be to never tell the opposing team that we didn't deposit that. I mean, again, we know he has to because it's a bluff, but like from the other team's perspective, why would you be telling me this? Because this now means that we can adjust our plan accordingly. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. This redhead guy is already very flustered, but I feel like a more calm person would be able to maybe deduce that. Why would you tell me this if it didn't help you? What do you want from me? But they can't prove it's the truth either. The devil's proof. I've been reading a lot of Ubi Neko, so I'm all into the mind games and shit at the minute. Yeah, that's interesting. If this was the situation, what would happen there? It would belong to their bank. Yeah, that makes sense. They haven't actually defined any rule regarding that, but that does bring up a very interesting question. You are. This is a very good bluff. Definitely has its holes in it. Not a perfect bluff, but a very no bluff is a perfect bluff, to be fair. But sick as rice is mice on you. An unflinching dictator. This is really interesting. We're going to see their version of that downsizing game. Oh yeah, a phantom. Fuck it hell, brother. Laia game. We paid everyone off. Paid them all off 50 million. Spending way more than he'd ever been in debt. It's crazy how much he just enjoys this, isn't it? The way he keeps coming in like this is so fucking funny, bro. Just zooming in. Some money. This guy. And he's going to sell them back for more than he bought them for. As I said, maybe not even more than he bought them for because he didn't really give a fuck. He's rich as hell anyway, seemingly. Oh, 50 mil per vote. Holy crap. So he made all of them. Jesus. Salary man data. An IOU. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ, brother. He took 10 million out of his retirement fund. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting because I wasn't expecting this. I mean, it's kind of expected, but this is kind of the same thing what now done, just in a more sinister, controlling way, isn't it? Like he also figured out that there is salvation to being eliminated in this game. However, he still left him in debt. Like fuck it up. And again, he did it in a much more like I still own you kind of way, not a you're free now kind of way. It's like no, I still own you. You still own me, and this makes a point to everyone else that I am capable of salvation for you, but you are completely controlled by me. So yeah, he gave him all of the money to pay off the debt, but still left him in 10 million debt from his retirement fund. To be honest with you, I was expecting this guy to be older. When they said like retirement fund, this guy's like 20, so guy's got more than enough time to kind of make up for that, I guess. Still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but not quite as disastrous as I thought it might be. This situation, still though, like really interesting that he kind of came to a similar conclusion as now did, but just in like an opposite way. This guy got off lucky though, to be fair, considering I imagine the people left are probably going to get it much worse. I like what he's doing here. I like what he's doing here. He's gonna. I'm not sure this is gonna work that well, considering just the sheer amount of control Yogi has, but kind of pitting this pure innocence over this like pure malice, and just like comparing the two, it does make you feel like, damn, I got incredibly unlucky getting paired with this motherfucker. I would have much rather been in the group with her, where it all ended happily, and someone did actually get saved. Like, I think what Akiyama might be doing here is trying to kind of throw a spanner in the wrench of Yokyu's kind of control on these people, and kind of sow some seeds of doubt in their minds to actually kind of trusting him with their futures. Um, hmm. I think so anyway. Like, be interested to see where he's going with this. But I mean, this guy's design looks so much like the redhead guy we already saw in the last arc, doesn't he? I wonder why that is. Why does he look so similar? Do you reckon that's like brother or something? I was also just thinking of how do we save this other team? Because I imagine now would not like it if we actually just beat this other team and made them all in massive debt. How do we possibly end this round with everybody happy? Oh, so this is like a gesture of goodwill from Akiyama. Here, I'll even give you 50 mil on top of all of that. Skeleton. Oh man, I love Fukunaga. So yeah, as I said, I feel like that was just like a gesture of goodwill. Everybody, I mean, yeah, it's plainly obvious that got no money in there. So you've got to question why. Why is he doubting 100 mil? It's to give 50 million back. It kind of messes us up a bit, but we're losing anyway. The way things are going, we're losing anyway. So it actually makes essentially no difference we're that we're giving him 50 million here. Like, if anything, as I said, it kind of gives him like a goodwill, like, trust us. Here, take this. Again, if this guy thinks about it logically for a minute, that was really convincing, all that he just said there. But if this guy does logically think about this, or even tells Yokio about this, Yokio will then figure out what's going on here, I think. Because why would you ever say this if you were planning to win in the way that you kind of put away that 1.9 billion? Oh, gosh, you that. Oh. Skeleton じゃねえだろうか. I think so. Yeah, they look pretty shook. Well, how much of that was a lie? There was a lot of truth in there. Thing. I mean, obviously the bluff was a lie, but yeah. I think we're gonna have to get them all to betray Yokia. Honestly. Wow, now it's getting quite complicated. I was pretty okay with with the stuff so far. Again, apologies for all the pause, and as I said, just like getting my head around it all. I'm gonna have to pause, so be prepared. But yeah, now it gets quite confusing because of the bluff we've now got on top of this. It adds a whole extra layer essentially. So you got the actual happenings, and then you got the bluff happenings. Um, that's the actual amount we've got for them to for us to retrieve from from our savings account on their side, and then that's the amount that we got hidden that they think is going to be put back into their account at the end of the game, but is actually going to be in our account. So that is still 0, but he thinks that that's 1.9. So how much are we up away from the savings? Um, we're up zero point 0.7. We're up 700 million away from the savings. So we would win by about 500 million right now. 700 million, something along those lines. He said earlier on in the discussion with the bandana guy. Um, okay, yeah, they've actually got it here, which is quite handy. So there's the actual amounts, and then there's the here's what bandana thinks is going on. So yeah, it would be if the game ends with how it is right now, the bandana would think um that their team would have 3.4 billion and we would have 3.7, so 300 mil difference. Um, but in actuality, the gap is ginormous. But that's given if we end it now. That there's still rounds of receipt smuggling money to play. Is the thing with this, isn't it? This is if things were just to end right this instant. But what's to say Yokio doesn't again find out about this, and then we start retrieving money again. Um, sorry guys, it is quite confusing now, actually, isn't it? In regards to like the withdrawal of money, because if if we then give him 2.3 billion to put into their savings account, and Yokio just like check the balance and find out about that, like I don't know. Go with the flow right now. Um, I mean, we've only got a couple minutes left, so what I think I'll do is I'll just probably watch this through. Try not to pause again. Watch this through, and then maybe come back to it at the end of the video, perhaps. But as I said, I want to get my head around it all. I know some people don't like me pausing so much, but I feel like my understanding of the show is more important. Oh, my head. Jesus. What the fuck is the plan here? I can't get my head around this. So why are we deliberately lowering our current account balance? What benefit does this have to anyone? Why though? Is it simple? Yeah, I mean, I get this. We're deliberately losing as much as possible. We're giving them, they're doubting us 100 mil, giving them 100 mil, and then they're getting another 50 mil on top of that from calling, from us calling them wrong. How does that benefit anyone other than that? I mean, again, I don't really know where he's going with this, but even not knowing where he's going with this, surely as Yoka, you would be questioning, why are they intentionally losing as much money as possible? You'd be very suspect of what's going on, right? Whatever the end goal is here. Again, I've got no idea. But even having no idea, I would be like, oh, why the fuck are they doing that? And then I'd be racking my brains to find out why, because you know something's up. Assuming in the next 6 rounds, Country Night Inspectors out 4 times, passed twice, 6 or 7. Their third country balance will exceed ours. Okay, so they will have this Japan. The way this is written in Japanese, why is it written like this in Japanese? Um, so they would have total 5.3 billion, where we have 1.8. Which is like, why I don't, why are we filling up their third country account? This is what I call the current account. Like, I call this the current account and this the savings account, because that's essentially what it is. Yes. So this is what it turns to. It then turns to us having 1.7 and them having 5.4, 5.5, 5.4. Again, what difference does this make? Sorry, I'm just trying to understand where is this plus 200 million coming from? So what we're doing is we're calling doubt 100 mil. We're losing 50 mil every time we're inspecting them. Every time we're bringing 100 mil through. Is this counting that they're not going to say 100 mil every time? Why would we be making 200 mil? Where would that come from? Unless they're not calling 100 mil every time. Um, So yeah, so sorry guys, I'm just trying to get my head around this. I'm not sure what conclusion they just came to here. What did they just get? What did they just understand from this? I'm totally in the dark. And what does that do for us? What does them exceeding our third country balance do for us exactly? What does that achieve? Why are they surprised at this like it's a good thing? I don't get this. So that's the point. So he wants the situation to be that the savings are again, I'm gonna try and simplify this. I think, from my understanding, again, I don't fully understand, as you can probably see. Um, he's trying to engineer a situation where the amount that the traitor, the bandana guy, will be taking from their savings is an amount that would guarantee us all to pay off the 100 million plus the amount that we're going to be in debt from this game. Is that what's going on here? So he's trying to engineer it so that they're going to have. See, if Yokia knows any, like, I'm not sure how he would, but if he knows how the revival game went for us, the contraband game, how it went with now kind of paying all the money back and such, he would foresee this, right? So that's dangerous here if he has any knowledge about that, because then he'll know that we want to pay off. We don't just want to win this game; we want to pay off everyone's debts as well. So that could, yeah. Again, I feel like Yoki would be very sus of the fact that they're intentionally losing money. But yeah, I think I kind of get it now. I still don't fully understand like the numbers, but I think, as with what we heard like a minute ago as well, before this kind of explanation, we want to engineer a situation where nobody leaves this round in debt with the 100 mil debt they've currently got on top of this game's debt. Okay, so two more traitors. I kind of said a minute ago, we're going to get everybody to be a traitor, but no, just two more. Okay. Yeah, as I said, that is the real issue, isn't it? It already kind of stands out a little bit as kind of suspect. Okay, no, it's really intriguing, the choice of who Akiyama's picking to betray the other team. He's picking the guys that helped kind of sabotage the team of Day with the kind of leaving the money for the other team to get. Really intriguing, that, isn't it? I guess that makes sense considering they were intimately in on the plan of leaving that money for the other team to retrieve. So the kind of bluff from Akiyama would work better on those guys, I guess, wouldn't it? But surely it's just a matter of time before Yokia is informed about at least some detail of this, right? Good point, that as well. Can't be looking too happy. But yeah, a really good point actually from Fukunaga. All they have to do is look over and like, why is their team looking so happy when they're in a perilous losing situation? Yeah, he's already onto it. He's already onto it. I knew he would be because it's way too suspect. This is without the betrayers saying anything to him. I assume the betrayers of his team are currently like being very quiet about it, considering Yokiya is Yokiya. You wouldn't want him to know about your betrayal, would you? But yeah, it was a bit hard to get my head around. This arc is certainly getting more and more complex, isn't it? But I think I get the general gist of what that segment said at the end there. Again, the numbers I still can't fully wrap my head around. It'll probably take me a little while to actually figure it all out numbers wise. But I think I kind of get it. But it's nice that even with Yoki, kind of not figuring it out there, but kind of realizing some of stuff. It's nice to know that he doesn't know what we're up to right now. He's on the he's got the gist that we're up to something, but it's nice that he's not one step ahead of us on this specific play, isn't it? This is the first time we could say that, I think. But yeah, certainly a complicated episode that, wasn't it? Like Jesus. Um Jesus. Tip off. Oh dear. Well, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. I mean, this is always the case. I said earlier about us getting everybody in Yoki's team to betray him. That it's like that would be incredibly hard for Yokia not to find out if everybody's betraying him. Even three people, I think it's going to be incredibly hard for them not to give away some aspect of their betrayal. I almost feel like it might be better if their whole team betrayed Yokia, if we got everybody on their team to betray him, because at least then everybody could act as one. Whereas you've now got three guys kind of acting a bit sus. That would probably stand out. But yeah, really good episode, very good episode. Again, the strategy is just like, and the levels and layers to this arc is just massively increasing as the episodes go on. And it was slightly hard to keep track of towards the end of the episode here, but as I said, I feel like I get like the general gist of what we're going for here. The plan pretty damn ingenious by Akiyama. It's definitely got its flaws and its holes. If these people are a bit more composed, not to say I would be, again, in a situation like this with so much money on the line, I totally get it. But if you just think for a moment as to why he's telling you all this and such, it does then just become very questionable, right? But we've got two betrayers on our hands, which is very awesome news. It's looking quite promising. It's going to plan in regards to the setting them up with more money in their current account. But Yokia definitely realizes something's up, so that is maybe that's Akiyama's intention. Maybe there's a secret other plan here that Akiyama is going for on top of this to make it that Yokia gets tipped off and knows about this plan so that we can enact another plan. As I said, the mind games and such is just on another fucking level right now. So not even worth thinking about that too much about the other plans that they've got on top of this. But yeah, I was kind of struggling. If anybody can explain this maybe simpler, I would very much appreciate that. But again, the general gist I get from here is to give them more money in their third country account so we can take more from their savings. So the betrayers give more when they betray their team from the savings. Yeah, as I said, if any of you guys can help me wrap my head around that a bit better, I would very much appreciate it. But anyway, this video is probably already way too long. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. And I catch you guys, yeah, 51 minutes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next week with episode 16.